So in yesterday's class, we were discussing about the mutual induction, right? And after that, we had done this mutual induction derivation. Okay, we had derived the relation between flux and mutual induction coefficient. Okay, so we had seen a relation between I, phi, and m, I guess. Okay, we had done up to that point. So yeah, this is what we have done. So phi was equal to m into I. Okay, so now if you see here clearly, so flux we are seeing in coil 2, flux we are observing in coil 2, and the current is of coil 1. Similarly, if I induce or if I supply a current in coil 2 and I look for the flux or in coil 1, so what I'll do, I'll write this as flux in coil 1 is equals to mutual induction and current in coil 2. If the current flows in coil 2 and if I observe the flux in 1, so this is the way you will write. Fine. Did you all understand this? Okay, so after this, do you have any doubt up to here? Up to this point, is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt? Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt up to this point? Okay, fine. Now, if you see NCERT book, okay, so there is an example. I don't remember which example is that. Okay, I don't remember right now which example is that, where they have calculated energy stored or energy density. Okay, they have calculated energy density in magnetic field. Okay, it just came into my mind because one student had asked that about that relation. Okay, that's why this is coming into my mind. So it is derived over there, energy density. So it's B square by 2 mu naught. This is the relation, energy density. Okay, so we had done this energy formula over here. Okay, this is not related to mutual induction. Instead, this is the topic of self-induction. So the energy formula we had done yesterday. Yes, this is over here. Okay. Just what you have to do, you are supposed to substitute the value of L. You have to substitute the value of L over here. Okay. The value of L, what was the value of L? L value is mu naught. Yes. N square pi R square into L. This was the formula for L, capital L, self-inductance. So this value you will substitute at this point in the formula of energy. Okay. Now energy divided by this complete thing. Energy divided by this complete thing would become what? Energy density. Also L is having a value of, L is also having a value of phi into I. Okay, L also has a value of phi into I. So from there you will just relate the things and get the value. Okay, if you are not able to do that, if you are not able to do that, you will get this in NCERT example. It's there. That's why I have not derived this thing. Okay, you can go and see it is there. Is it fine? That's why I have not derived this. So you are just supposed to substitute this value of L here. Okay, so you will, what you will get, a half mu naught N square pi R square L into I is equals to U. This is what you will get. Okay, now after this, u divided by I is equals to, sorry, not u divided by I, it should be, okay, I'll do this. U is equals to half L, instead of L, mu naught n square pi r square into L into y square you will take. Then what you will do, this complete thing is an area, sorry, volume. So you will just bring it down. So this becomes energy density. This becomes energy density. Okay. Now, what is the formula for magnetic field? Yes, magnetic field is mu naught Ni. Mu naught Ni is the formula. Yes, mu naught Ni is the formula. So just substitute it over there. You just substitute it over there. Okay. So half mu naught N into I into Ni. This is what you will get. This is what you will get. So half B dot Ni. This is what I'm getting now. Now, what I will do, I'll just multiply it by, okay, I'll just multiply it by B, this value. Okay, I'll just square this thing. I'll just square this thing. N is mu. Okay, I'll just multiply and divide by this. And then you will get that value. Then you will get that value. Okay, so just multiply by mu naught and divide by mu naught. Okay, now again, what is this quantity? Mu naught Ni. Again, this becomes B. So this becomes B square divided by mu naught. So this is energy density. So this is the derivation. Okay, that was given in NCERT. That's why I didn't take it. Okay, one of the student had asked this derivation. Okay, so I have just guided. I don't know from where, which batch it is. It is whether he's from this batch or that batch. Okay, batch 2. So this is the derivation. Anyhow, anyway, we have done this also. Okay. So did you understand this now? Yes. Did you understand this derivation? There is nothing to do in this, just substitution. Just substitution you have to do. Okay. No need to worry. No need to worry. Just substitution you have to do. In electrostatics, a similar derivation you would have done. In electrostatics, for energy density, you would have done a similar derivation. In electrostatics, you would have got E square, okay, epsilon naught divided by 2. This is the value you would have got. Okay, epsilon naught E square divided by 2. This is the value you would have got in electrostatics as energy density. Okay. So in that example, both the energies are compared. Okay, I don't have that like NCERT book. I don't remember the example number, but it's given. I'm sure of that. It's given. It's given over there. Okay, you just have a look in that. Now, after this, we had done mutual induction. We had studied the concept of mutual induction. We had derived the value of M. Now, what you have to do for mutual induction is a standard case which is asked so many times in board exam, and I have already told you that whenever you write down a midterm exam, okay, whenever you are writing a midterm exam, I have already told you that this derivation, okay, I have already told you, I guess, that this complete derivation I will give you in midterm, this one, to derive this. Did I tell you like that? Did I tell you like that, that in any midterm which you are writing, you will have a high probability that I will give you this relation to derive. Did I tell you like that? Yes or no? I didn't tell you. Seriously. Okay. So you, all of you just mark this thing now. Okay. If I have not told you, so I'm telling you now, the derivation that is in front of you, the derivation that is in front of you, if you are having a midterm, okay, a subjective exam, okay, if you are having a subjective exam, you will get this derivation which is on your screen. Okay, minimum 3 marks. Minimum 3 marks. Okay. Minimum 3 marks you will have. If I intend it to give in 5 marks, if I intend to give in 5 marks, so plus 2 will be numerical with this. Okay. Minimum 3 marks, or I intend to give in 5 marks, then plus 2 will be numerical with this. But 90% chance I will give you this problem. Okay, 90% chance is that I'll give you this derivation. So don't tell that I have not informed you. Okay, so this is one thing that I will be giving you. And the next thing what I'm going to do now, and the next derivation what we are going to do now, I will be giving you. Okay, so any one out of these two or both can be asked. Okay, you will be having a choice if you are having, okay, midterm. So both the questions will be having a choice, either this or this. Okay, so this will be the derivation for mutual induction. Okay, the derivation for the mutual induction for a coaxial coil. For two coaxial coils, you will derive the relation for M. Is it okay? We will do it just now. So no need of worrying. That is, this both are very easy things. Okay, just see how we will derive this. So mutual induction due to coaxial solenoids. Okay, due to coaxial solenoids. Okay, now just see how I'm drawing the figure. Okay, all of you just closely observe and then draw. Okay, nobody will do anything right now. Just see the screen only. So one coil we are having like this. One coil is like this. Another coil is like this. See here. Another coil is like this. These are the two coils. I hope the figure is clear. They both are coaxial. Okay. They both are coaxial coils. Okay. This is a S1 coil. S1. This is S2. Solenoid 1, solenoid 2. The current is there. There is a current. There is a current flowing in the first coil. There is a current flowing in the first coil. If you observe this coil, okay, if you observe this coil from this side, if you observe this coil from this side, how will you observe it? What you will see? What will you see if you observe this coil from this side? Yes. Will you see a coil which will have a bigger radius? Then you will have a coil. Then you will have a coil which will be of a smaller radius like this. Correct? Is this understood now? Is it understood now? Like this. Anybody is having any doubt? Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt in this now? Okay. I am assuming that the magnetic field is like this. What I'm assuming is that the magnetic field direction is this. Okay. I have such a arrangement. I have such directions which makes the magnetic field lines into the solenoid like this. So into the solenoid, if the magnetic field lines are like this, So this polarity, this side you will have south, this side you will be having north. This side you will be having north and south polarities like this. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay. This is coil 1, sorry, this is coil 2, and this is coil 1. Now, we shall start the derivation. Is the situation clear to all of you? Is the situation clear to all of you? Okay. Now, for coil 1, for solenoid 1 and for solenoid 2. For solenoid 1, number of turns are N1, area is A1, length is A1. Any flux linked with it, I will write it as 1. Any flux linked with it, I'll write it as 1. For S2, we will have N2 number of turns per unit length. Area is A2, length is L2, and then any flux linked will be 2. Now, what I'm assuming is that they both are having same length. What we are assuming is both have same length. Both solenoids have same length. So this I can remove, and I can remove this also. Is it fine? Now, when the current is flowing through, the current you can see is flowing through S1. The current is I. I amount of current is flowing through the first coil. Now, I'm starting the derivation. All of you just try to concentrate now. What is the flux in second coil due to first coil? So flux in second coil due to first coil. So this is what? Flux in solenoid 2 due to solenoid 1. Okay. Can I say the flux in solenoid 2 due to 1 will be directly proportional to the current in 1, and flux in 2 due to 1, if I remove this proportionality sign, I can write as mutual induction in 2 due to 1 and I1. Yes, this much we have already studied. There is nothing new that I have done over here. There is nothing new that I have done here. Is it fine? Now you tell me, the current is in one solenoid or the second solenoid? The current is in first solenoid or in the second solenoid? The current is in first solenoid or in the second solenoid? Current, main current is in first solenoid or in the second solenoid? It's in the first solenoid. So the magnetic field which will be set up, will it be in first solenoid or will it be in second solenoid? Yes, the magnetic field will be set up. Okay, will it be due to first solenoid or will it be due to the second solenoid? It will be due to the first solenoid because the current is carrying by the first solenoid. Okay. Now, outside the solenoid, what is the magnetic field? 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 0. Okay. So if you see the lines that I have drawn, okay, the line that I have drawn, the magnetic field line that I have drawn, I should have drawn it like this actually. I should have drawn it like this. If you agree, I should have drawn it concentrated through first solenoid only. I hope you are able to see the lines. Okay, they should not pass through. or they should not go beyond the first solenoid. Am I correct with this? Correct? Yes? Okay. Now tell me the value of magnetic field due to first solenoid. Magnetic field due to first solenoid. Magnetic field due to first solenoid. Yes. Can I write it as it will be given with B1 is equals to mu naught N1 I1 because current is 1, the number of turns per unit length is N1 and magnetic field is B1. Correct? Okay. Now flux. Okay. Flux in S2. Okay. Flux in S2 across any one turn. Any one turn. So flux in 2 due to any one turn is written with phi to 1 dash. What will it have a value? Shall I write it as B1 A1 or shall I write it as B2 A2 or shall I write it as B2 A1 or shall I write it as B2 or B1 A1? B1 A1 is already I have written B2 A2. Yeah. Or 1 A2. What shall I write it? Which case is correct? I have given you 4 options. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. Which one is correct? Which one is correct? Okay. I see most of you answering D. See, one thing you see here, there is no current through coil 2. First, I'll take one by one. I'll talk about C and I'll talk about B. How many of you have confusion that they can be, any one of them can be the answer? Yes. How many of you have the confusion that C and B can be our answer because B and C should not be the answer? How many of you have any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, I'll just remove them from the option. If anybody is having, I'll explain it. If nobody is having, we'll not waste our time. So how many of you have any doubt that C and B, anyone may be the answer? So shall I remove them from the options now? Because there is no magnetic field in 2. There is no magnetic field due to 2. Okay. Talking of, if I say B2 is a wrong thing. Why? Because there is no current now. Right now, there is no current in the coil 2. That's why B2 is not here. B2 is only when the current will flow through the second coil. The current is flowing through the first coil. So saying that B2 will be the magnetic field is a wrong thing. So if you understand this, I'm removing this thing. Okay. Now you would be having a doubt between these two. B1, A1, B1, A2. How many of you are going with option A now? Option A, option D. There are so many people have written option D, so I have to take it. Now you just tell me. We'll talk about the first one which is wrong. We'll talk about the one which is wrong. Okay, so we'll talk about this D first because that is wrong. Okay, this is wrong. Why this is wrong? You just see here. If you note down that if this is the magnet solenoid, these are the two solenoids, okay, that you observe. Now the magnetic field is only concentrated over here. The magnetic field is only concentrated over here. Now, if I want to find out the flux, in coil 2 due to 1, it's correct that the flux you are calculating for this coil, whose area is A2. But is it correct? Is it correct to say that the complete area is involved, or this complete area is having a magnetic field? Can I say that its complete area is having a magnetic field, or only this portion is having a magnetic field? Yes, these portions are not having any magnetic field. Magnetic field is only concentrated within this portion of the area A2. So shall I write A1 or shall I write the complete area? Yes, it's correct that we are calculating the flux for 2. So I should write A2, but try to understand one thing. Is it my flux? My flux of the magnetic field lines are passing through complete region or through only this area? Yes. Is it passing through A2 or is it passing through A1 only? Is it passing through A2 or is it passing through A1 only? A1 only. It is passing through A1 only. Fine. So what shall I use now? What shall I use now? Option A is correct. Yes. So option A we will be writing. B1 into A1 is the magnetic flux through any one turn. Across any one turn, you just keep in mind this thing. What is the value of B1 now? What will be the value of B1 now? Substitute this B1 value from here. Substitute the B1 value from here. Okay. Substitute the B1 value from here to here. Okay. What you will have? Mu naught N1 I1 A1. Will you have this thing? Okay. Now, flux through total, okay, total flux. So I am writing it as total flux through S2. Due to one turn, it is this. Due to one turn, it is this. For total, what shall I write? For total, what shall I write? For total, 5 to 1, what shall I write? Can I write it as this multiplied by this multiplied by N2 into L? Can I write it like this? Because N2 into L will give me what? Total number of turns. Total number of turns will be N2 into L. Yes or no? Did you understand this step? All of you understood this step? Okay. So just substitute the value. Just substitute the value of 521 dash here. Okay. So what you will have now? Mu naught N1 I1 area of 1 N2 L. So if I rearrange this formula, so I'm getting mu naught N1 N2, I'm keeping it separate. Then I will keep A1 into L together, and then I would keep I1 separate. Okay. Now, have we calculated that flux in 2 due to 1 is also M into I1? Just see this equation. See this equation over here. See this equation over here. Equation number 1. Yes, all of you just see this equation number 1. Okay. So after that equation, if you see, so what can you say the value of M now? What will be the value of M now? Will it be mu naught N1 N2 into A1 into L? Is it similar to the value of L? Is it similar to the value of L? See here. Is it similar to the value of L? In L, we had N square. Here we are having N1 into N2. Area into length, volume. Area into length, volume of the smaller coil. Mu naught, mu naught. So the unit is also same. Unit is also same. It is easier to understand. Yes. Is it easy to remember also? Did you understand this now? So the coefficient of mutual induction for a two pair of coil, coefficient of mutual induction for two pair of coil, okay, is given as mu naught N1 N2 A1 into L. Is it understood now? Okay. Now, if someone would argue, sir, you have taken a current in a smaller coil. If you take a current in the the bigger coil, will the answer change? Yes. If I take the current in the different coil, in the coil 2 suppose, will my result change? Will my result change? Yes or no? If I take the current in the bigger coil, should my answer change? Yes or no? Okay, it should change. Yes? Should it change? What have you written this? What is the line that I have highlighted as very, very important? If its value is the same, okay, its value is the same for given pair of coil. So if I have the same coil, the answer will not change. I'll explain you that also. Let us see that also. Okay, when the current is flowing in the second coil, still the result will be same. I will do for you that also. You just see here. The complete thing I will not do, just I will show you. The value will not change. Okay, that much only I will tell. That much only I will tell. Okay. So now the current is flowing. Now the current is flowing here. Now the current is flowing in this I1. Now you see the derivation, how we will do. Now this is S1 and this one is S2. Okay. What has happened? Okay. The magnetic field lines are now concentrated everywhere. Magnetic field lines are concentrated everywhere. True. Okay. That is a true statement. Here also magnetic field lines, here also. Everywhere there will be magnetic field lines. Okay, everywhere there will be magnetic field lines like this. Now you just see here. If I write flux in 1 due to 2, because flux you have to write in 1 due to 2 now. Mutual induction. Current is flowing in 2, you have to write down the flux in 1. What you will write? Mutual induction and current in coil 1. Okay, current in coil 1. So no need of writing 1 and 2. Only one current is there. Okay. Now what is the magnetic field you will write? What value of magnetic field will you write? Here, what value of magnetic field will you write? Yes. What is the magnetic flux through 1? What is the flux through 1? Yes. Flux through 1 due to 2. What you will write? Magnetic field into and area of one you will write, or you will write it like this. Which one is correct? See here, the magnetic field is everywhere. Magnetic field is everywhere. But what is your flux? You are considering flux up to this only, na? Yes, the flux should be considered for this area only, na? Now, what you have done in previous classes, just try to remember that if this is the area, this is the region where you have a magnetic field, and this is the coil, okay, whose area is this. Now, if I ask you what is the magnetic flux through this area, what is the magnetic flux through this area? So you did it B into A of this area, or you calculated this complete area? What you had done? You had calculated this complete area, you had calculated only this area. You have calculated only this area. You didn't do for this area. So you will not use this complete area. Instead, you will use only this area over here. You will use only this area. Okay. So this is a wrong state thing. So flux will be B2 into A1. What is B2 value? Is it mu naught N2 into I into A1? Substitute that value over there. Substitute that value. So phi will become phi 1 2 will become mu naught N2. Okay. Mu naught N2 into I into A1. This is magnetic flux now. Okay. Now, if I want to calculate the total, this is for one, this is for one. Okay. This was for one. For total, what I'll do, I'll just multiply by N1 into L, because I'm calculating for the coil 1. That's why I will do N1 into L. Now, N1 is also there, N2 is also there, A1 is there, L is there, I is there. I have got the same result. Did you understand this? No, Ganesh, you will not use phi to 1. You will not use this over here because current is flowing in 2 now. So you should calculate 1, 2. You should calculate 1, 2. This is the only thing you have to understand. When you are the current is flowing in any other coil, the flux will be seen for any other coil. Okay, then only mutual induction you will see. Mutual induction, how did you see? Just check here. Current was flowing where? Current is flowing in first coil. Mutual induction, you are calculating 1. Current is flowing in first coil. When you calculate for the same coil, you will calculate self-induction. You will calculate self-induction. N1L, how you put that? Okay, N1L, why did I substitute that? Because I'm calculating for 1. Na? See, I did it for coil 2. When I was doing for coil 2, that's why I have substituted N2 into L. Because I was doing for which coil? Second coil. That's why I have done N2 into L. If I'm doing for first coil, so I will write N1 into L. Na? Understood, Nagaraj? Because here I was doing for second coil, that's why I used N2. If I am calculating here for first coil, so I will write N1 or N2. I will write N1 only because I'm calculating for 1. Okay. So it doesn't matter whether you have the current in the first coil or in the second coil, the value of mutual induction will be the same. That is, I have shown you. That I have shown you over here. So I hope nobody is having any doubt in this now. I hope nobody is having any doubt in this now. Okay. So now there are few important things that you should know. Okay. There are few important things that you should know in this about what do you say, the relation between the self-induction and the mutual induction. Okay, the relation between the self-induction and the mutual induction, that's the relation. Okay, you should know about. So relation between self and mutual induction. self and mutual induction. Okay, so now just see over here. I'll just write down the relation because the derivation is not the part of our syllabus. Okay, so mutual induction, M is given as K into L1 into L2. When you have two coils together, kept together, be having L1 and L2 as their self inductions, okay, self inductance, and M is the mutual coefficient, mutual inductance. So the relation between mutual inductance and self inductance is this. Now, what is K over here? K is called as coupling factor. K is called as coupling factor. Okay, K is called as coupling factor. Now, its value, coupling factor value changes from 0 to 1. Its value changes from 0 to 1. Okay, so many times in some exam, okay, so many times in exam, suppose any state exam takes, initially it used to happen like so many universities, so many colleges, they used to take their own exam like Aligarh, BHU, okay, Jamia and all, they used to take their own exams. So for them, these questions were asked. What is the value of coupling factor? Between what to what range it changes? Okay, so you can have it. You can also get what. So this is a coupling factor 0 to 1. Now we will try to visualize what is a coupling factor. So actually, this coupling factor tells me that how two coils will be linked together, how they will be linked together. Now, if I say its value is 1, suppose if I say its value is 1, then I am saying that all the flux, maximum flux from one coil is linked with the second coil. Maximum flux, okay, maximum flux of coil 1 is linked with the coil 2. This is what I understand by the coupling factor. If I say K value is 0, that means 0 amount of flux from 1 is reaching 2. So when I say K value is 1, so what I mean is that all the flux, okay, all the flux from 1 should also reach 2. When I say that K value is 0, this means none of the field lines are reaching 2. None of the field lines from 1 is reaching 2. So this can't be possible when two coils are kept very, very far away. Very, very far away. Okay. And this case will happen when two coils are coaxial. When two coils are coaxial, then all the flux of 1 will be linked with 2. All the flux of 2 will be linked with 1. In this case, when they are kept very, very far away, the flux of 1 will not disturb 2 and the flux of 2 is not going to disturb 1. So can you visualize what is the meaning of coupling factor? Yes? Can you visualize now what is the meaning of coupling factor? It tells you to what extent the flux linked from one coil affects the flux of the second coil. To what extent the magnetic field, I can say the flux, okay, to what extent the magnetic field of first coil is affecting the coil 2. Okay, so this is one thing. Now one more thing is that you should see, okay, this may be asked, okay, for coil 1, for coupling factor to be 1, this is the only, for coupling factor to be 1, okay, this is the orientation, this is the necessary orientation, okay, for coupling factor to be 1, this should be the orientation of the two coils. So what is that? Coaxial coils. So coaxial coils will have coupling factor 1. For two coils kept very far away, they will have coupling factor 0. Now one more example is there in this. Okay, one more example is there. You just see that also. When two coils are placed like this, when two coils are placed like this, perpendicular to each other, perpendicular to each other, in that case, in this case, what will happen? The coupling factor is also 0. Now why it is 0? I told you that the flux should not cross. The flux will have 0 value. Now you just see one thing now. I'll just remove this figure also and try to draw the bigger diagram. Okay. Now all of you just see this area. See this area. How will be the magnetic field line linked with it? Will it pass like this perpendicular? Will it be like this? This is not perpendicular. Okay, this is not exactly perpendicular, but you assume it to be perpendicular. Okay, assume it to be perpendicular only. Okay, coaxial. Now you visualize this one now. Try to visualize this one. How is this going now? This area over here. How is this area? Yes. How is this area going? Is it perpendicular to the field line? If I draw the area vector for this, if I draw the area vector, will it be in this direction? Area vector, will it be in this direction? If area vector is in this direction, so if I keep it here, okay, so the flux through this coil, okay, for black one I am writing B dot A, I will write. B is downward, area vector is perpendicular. So cos theta will be 90 degree. So cos theta 90 degree means flux will be 0. This means K will be 0. Did you understand this? Did you understand the concept behind the two mutually perpendicular coils having coupling factor 0? Did you understand this now? Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt in this? Yes. Is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt in this now? Okay, fine. So mutual induction is finished. Mutual induction is finished. Okay. We have only two more topics. One is eddy current in this, and one is AC generators. Okay. One is eddy current and one is AC generators. So tomorrow we will try to finish that also. Okay. And then on Wednesday we will finish with this chapter. Thursday and Friday we will do some numericals. Okay, Thursday and Friday we will do some numericals. Combination of inductors, is it there in your syllabus? Combination of inductors, is it there in your syllabus? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, there is 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes or more. Okay, I'll just try to brief it up. Combination of inductors if you want. Okay. I don't think so. It is for NEET students. It is not given in NCERT also. Combination of inductors. See, in combination of inductors, what is there? Actually, we try to see how the flux is linked. Okay. So now it's up to you. if I'll try to just wrap it up, okay, quickly, because this is not in NCRT. Combination of inductors is not in NCRT, so I don't think it is a part of NEET syllabus also. Anyway, if you have asked, I'll just brief it up over here, okay. The possible ways how you can solve the questions, okay. Now, see here, in first case, when we have the coils, okay, where flux is in same direction, where flux will be in the same direction, then what you will do? Then how to solve it, okay? So first for series connection. Okay, first for series connection. So when we have two inductors, okay, when we have two inductors kept in series, so this is a series combination, current is same, okay. So L equivalent, what I hope for you would be this only, okay, considering only self inductance, this is the series combination, okay. This is the series combination for inductors. For parallel it is same as resistor, okay. So for parallel it is same as resistors. So if this is the direction of current, this is L1, this is L2. So 1 upon L equivalent will be 1 upon L1 plus 1 upon L2. Okay. Current division, current will divide similar to as what happens in resistors. I will be is equals to I1 plus I2. And if you want to find out the values of I1 and I2, okay. So I1 will be given as L2I divided by L1 plus L2, and I2 will be given as L1I divided by L1 plus L2. This is how you will do the combination problems. Okay. This is how you will do the combination problems. Okay. I hope this is only when mutual induction is not considered. Okay. Mutual induction not considered. Mutual induction not considered. If it is considered, then it becomes little typical. Okay, if it is considered, it becomes little typical, because in that case you have to identify which polarity which where it will have, and with that you will add plus or minus 2m over here, plus or minus 2m over here. But I don't think so that is in your syllabus. This is not in JE also. This thing, mutual induction considered, is not in JE also. Okay, they don't ask such problems in JE also nowadays. So I hope this is also done. Okay, did you understand? Combination of inductors, did you understand? It is same as resistor. It is same as resistor. Okay, capacitor runs in a different way. Capacitor runs in a different way. Resistor, inductor in the same way. Chapter 1 is different. Chapter 2 and chapter 6 same. Okay, chapter 2 different, chapter 3 chapters and chapter 6 are same. Okay, resistor, inductor same, capacitor different. Capacitor is in parallel C1 plus C2. Capacitor in parallel it's C1 plus C2, and in series it's 1 by C equivalent is equals to 1 upon C1 plus C2. So now you can take the slides. Okay, we started from here. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask in between. If anybody has any doubt, you can ask in between. Anybody is having any doubt in this? Otherwise, I'll end this session now. Have you all taken all the slides? Did you all take the slides? Okay, fine. Okay, thank you then.